Good morning. Thank you so much for that introduction. A big thank you to Jackie and DPS for the invitation to speak here today, and also to Mayor Johnson and everyone at the city who works to keep things moving forward. I know it is no small task, and I am truly appreciative. I'm excited to be here today. It's February and it's not snowing, so I count that a good day already. Yes. But we're all here today to connect, to learn, to gather resources, and to be inspired. And I'm excited to share my perspective. I hope it will resonate in some way that is meaningful for you. I am a visual thinker, so hopefully we will have some slides. That's the way that I think and process things. But again, I'm excited to be here. So the stats are true regarding the low number of Black women architects. When I got my license, there were approximately 260 Black women architects in the United States. We're now at about 600. And while those numbers are low and may sound disheartening, I do not want that to overshadow the greatness of the Black architects, men and women, that have been and still are here producing amazing work. We have an incredibly rich history, and I don't stand here alone or as the only one. I'm a part of that legacy and very proud to be so. In my career, I've been able to work on a lot of different projects, from affordable housing with CHA to private luxury homes and towers, corporate interiors, as well as nonprofit community centers. I enjoyed the full spectrum of possibility and believe that design has the power to transform, inspire, and elevate, and everyone deserves access to it. I've worked in this industry for over 20 years, but the last few years have been a real shift for me. 5 words: I started my own business. That's a very short sentence with the longest meaning ever. And I know some of you in this room can relate to that. Do we have the slides? I'm not sure if we do. Okay. I'll keep going, and then hopefully we do get the visuals. As a brief intro to my business, IJ Design Studio just celebrated 3 years of full-time operation. Thank you. Thank you. There I am, Keynote, yep, yep. Yeah, there we go. Awesome, thank you. And then, do I advance? Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to advance with the models.
Okay.
Okay.
This way?
I think otherwise you should be okay.
All right, we're in business, thank you, thank you. Technology, gotta love it. I do want to say this speech was written entirely by me, no chat GPT involved. I did try to find a joke through chat GPT, and the humor was awful, not good at all. So back to IJ Design Studio. We just completed 3 years of full-time operation. We blend architecture and interior design services spanning from pre-development and programming work through furniture procurement and construction administration. We are partners in building dreams. Our clients are entrepreneurs, established businesses, homeowners, and visionary nonprofits looking to make a difference in the community. Whether working on commercial or residential, affordable or high-end, we apply the same level of care and commitment to honoring creative expression, the human spirit, and the natural environment. In thinking about some of the observations learned over the course of my career, one immediate observation is the importance of good partnerships. We completed this space last year, and it's a great example of what can happen when businesses partner with one another. TBD Studio is a small firm located in Washington, D.C., and we partnered together on the architecture and interior design for this office located in the Lyric Opera Building on Wacker Drive. The client, NRDC, has an integral commitment to sustainability and social responsibility, which aligns with our business values. The strategy of sharing resources allowed both of our firms to benefit and execute strong project delivery. We've heard wonderful feedback from the end users. We all know that the dynamics of the workplace are changing and people are looking for more unique spaces to work within. So it's great to hear that positive feedback. Now, while we all love looking at the pretty pictures at the end of a successful project, many of us in this room know that behind the scenes, the design and construction process is intense. Permits, drawing sets, spreadsheets, bids, change orders, RFIs, 2-week look-aheads, OAC meetings, pay applications, and on and on and on. As an architect, one of the best things about my job is that I get to be involved from the very beginning idea stage all the way to the construction and post-occupancy stage. Being involved from start to finish is also one of the most challenging things about my job. The challenge is that projects morph, budgets change, projects start and stop, but the bills never seem to change. They always seem to keep coming, right? So we have to adapt and find ways to build redundancy into our businesses without being wasteful. I love helping clients find the words and tools to articulate their vision, as much as I love wearing a hard hat and collaborating and problem solving with the contractors on site. However, it's a very long road between big ideas and completed construction. As much as we might want a first-class ticket to the end of the process, the reality is that the design and construction process is a long-distance road trip. And that's okay. Building resilient, effective, vibrant spaces and communities takes care, and it takes time. Despite the twists and turns and bumps on a long-distance road trip, you can also experience some beautiful scenery along the way. I want you to think of each of our businesses as a vehicle. Some are small, some are large, some are new, some are old. But we're all headed in the same direction, towards a successful project delivery for our clients. It's up to each one of us to make sure that our vehicles are prepared for the trip. It's up to each one of us to make sure that anyone who's riding in our vehicles is safe and well-fed. On this long-distance road trip, we can't control for the weather. Storms will come. Inflation, supply chain issues, interest rates, skyrocketing material or labor costs. All we can do is do our best to make sure that our vehicles are prepared to weather the storm. However, no matter how much care we put into our vehicles, they will not move without the external input of fuel. Clean fuel, of course, electric, only the best for our vehicles, but fuel nonetheless. No matter how much money you've spent on your vehicle or how well you've maintained it, without fuel, you're not going anywhere. In my view, there are two main sources of fuel for our businesses. One, capital, and two, support from the city. With those two things in place, the sky is the absolute limit. I don't need to recite for you the stats on capital and who typically doesn't have access to it. But I can confirm that capital has been a real challenge for my business, and I know I'm not alone in that. Regarding support from the city, I'm encouraged by the Chicago initiatives that are aimed at providing support and opportunities, especially for businesses like mine. So just to name a few, last year we went through the MBE WBE certification process for Chicago. That opens up more opportunities for us to partner. That's fuel. The Vendor Impact Fund and today's panel on access to capital, that's fuel. The free workshops and resource guides that are available online, that's fuel. the Business Affairs and Consumer Protection Entrepreneur Program that helps provide access to loan products, the neighborhood development grants, pre-development grants, all of that is fuel. Today's summit is fuel. There are more resources than I could name, and it can be overwhelming at times to try to sift through all of the opportunities and figure out what makes sense for your business. But that's a good problem to have. And there are even programs to help with navigating all of the options. I'm sure you've seen a beautiful vehicle stranded on the side of the road. It's looking for resources. There's nothing wrong with the car. It has the full capability to drive the full distance. It just is missing that critical ingredient, fuel. So let's take a look at how this fuel can translate into real-life building projects. Our client, Sarita, is opening her first brick and mortar business. She's revitalizing a property in South Shore and turning it into a unique candle-making experience. Because of a grant from the city, she gets to live out her dream, and we get to help bring her vision to life. So while my business has not been directly eligible for a city grant, we are still able to benefit. Some may see this as a small project, but it is huge for all of us involved. It is not just a building, it is a dream coming to life. And it's one Black-owned business being able to support another Black-owned business in a Black neighborhood. These are the types of partnerships that need to become more commonplace, and fuel is the key ingredient. Continuing on the topic of the importance of Black-led development, I'd like to play a quick video for you. Oh, it looks like we don't have sound. Okay, I'll read you the transcript. Anytime that future generations can see themselves in the progress that's happening in a community, within an organization, in their neighborhood. Oh, there we go. Anytime that future generations can see themselves in the progress that's happening in a community, within an organization, in their neighborhood, that's incredibly impactful. One project that I'm really, really excited about and passionate about is a mixed-use project in one of the Black neighborhoods in Chicago. So I'm excited about the impact on the community. I am also very excited that this project is completely Black-led. So the developer is Black. The architects are Black, and we've assembled a team of consultants that are Black. And in my 20 years of practicing architecture and interior design, I have never been able to be involved in a project that is completely Black-led, that is benefiting a Black community. So I am just so excited about how this project will impact the neighborhood and also the professionals and the businesses that are involved in the development of it. The project I'm referencing in that video is Victory Apartments, located in the Austin neighborhood. The project is led by Urban Equities, Inc., a 30-year-old development firm led by Lennox Jackson. You can see our roundtable of Black engineers and consultants, all business owners, all excited to partner with one another on this project. Remember earlier when I mentioned all of the behind-the-scenes work that it takes to get to the pretty pictures and renderings? Well, let's talk about it. That video was recorded in December 2022. At that point, we had spent a year and a half designing and testing various development strategies, design iterations, talking with neighborhood groups, meeting with DPD multiple times, including the workshop pictured in the upper left corner. I would love to show you an image of the construction underway on this project, but the lot remains vacant. This project has been a case study in business resiliency and handling road bumps. The project is on the on-ramp, just waiting for the last few drops of fuel. The car is packed, we have our snacks, we've got our seatbelts on, we're ready to go. We just need the fuel. With new momentum and fresh support, we are determined to get on the highway this year. When a Black-led project like this is not allowed to move forward, it is not just an experiment. It can mean the end of a business. It can mean the end of a dream for a family looking for housing. It can mean the end of a Black retailer's dream to be situated in a Black community. It can mean that people leave the neighborhood because there's just not enough investment in it. Our neighborhoods are vibrant, full of history, strength, and beauty, and simply need investment, not charity, but investment. I am optimistic that 2024 will be the year that we start to see images like this merge. Since recording that video in December 2022, I have looked out the windows of my Fulton Market office and seen at least 5 major construction projects, tall buildings, break ground, and near completion. It's very exciting, and I know the alderman was here earlier. Kudos to him for all of the amazing work that's happening in that area. With the talent in this room and the rest of the city, and with the fuel, capital, and support from the city, I know that we can get our developments done on West Chicago Avenue, or 79th Street, or South Michigan Avenue, or Cottage Grove, or 95th Street. I will reiterate the importance of the city's pre-development grants and support to ensure that these projects get off the ground. I'm also encouraged by Mayor Johnson's executive order for streamlining the development process. 14 city departments have been asked to identify key barriers in their approval process that lead to increased timelines, cost, and uncertainty. I cannot tell you how critical this is. There are so many puzzle pieces that have to come together for a successful project. We all share a responsibility to handle our piece of the puzzle in a way that allows the next piece to be placed. Again, for our small businesses, this work is not an experiment. Our businesses rely on it, and our communities need us. Emerging developers and businesses have to be allowed onto the road to success. This road belongs to everyone, and we have to have a mindset of sharing it. I'm often asked the question of why I decided to start my business. I have tons of reasons, at least 101. But basically, it allows me to build upon my experiences and do more. More exploration of affordability and sustainability. More blending of architecture and interiors. More impact through volunteerism and mentorship. And more transformative design for deserving communities. Before I conclude, I want to share 2 incredibly important lessons I learned on a long-distance road trip years ago. I don't remember the exact day, but I will never forget this moment. Some 18 years ago, I was on a long drive down the East Coast. It had been snowing lightly for a while, and it was starting to get dark. There was enough traffic that the lanes themselves were clear, and there was just a little bit of snow ice buildup between the lanes. I was in the left lane, keeping pace with the rest of the traffic, who seemed to be aware of the weather conditions. A car came up fast behind me and started tailgating, clearly telling me to get out of his way. I was annoyed. I was going fast enough, and it was snowing. But he didn't let up. So I sped up so that I could move to the right and let him pass. As I crossed over the snow between the lanes, my car spun. I spun across 5 lanes of traffic, and it happened in slow motion. I remember seeing the headlights of semi-trucks and cars staring me straight in the eye. I spun across 5 lanes of traffic, and the spinning stopped when I was safely on the right shoulder of the road. I wasn't hit by another car. I didn't even hit the guardrail. Needless to say, I sat on the shoulder of that road for a few minutes and collected myself before getting back on the highway. I learned two incredibly valuable lessons in that moment that I've carried with me in life and in business. The first lesson is super simple. God is with me. As a woman of faith, I have no doubt about that. And I know that there are things that are out of my control, and I'm okay with that. The second incredibly valuable lesson I learned is never let someone tell you what lane you should be in. Never let anyone tell you how fast or slow you should be moving or what path you should take. The road to success belongs to everyone, and you can choose your own path. From a business perspective, no one understands your business risk as well as you do. Heed advice, but also listen to your internal voice, because ultimately you will be responsible for the success or failure of your business, not those who are offering the advice. So here I am, a Black woman architect committed to staying on the road and standing on the foundation built before me. IJ stands for Inspired Journey. We are intentional about the paths we travel and the spaces we inhabit. We believe that the process is just as important as the product. We believe that great design belongs to everyone and that we must find inspiration in the journey. Today, you've heard me speak about the importance of partnerships, maintaining your vehicle, finding fuel for the long journey, Black-led development, and sharing the road. So let's go out there today and get the fuel that we need to drive forward together.
Thank you, Ms. Harrell, for that address. Before we go break off for the afternoon sessions and open the exhibitor hall back up, I think we have about 10 minutes left. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask our keynote speaker today about the speech or about her path to where how she got to where she's at? Yes. Can you raise your hands up high for me if you have a question? I don't know if we'll get to everyone, but we will do our best. All right. Excuse me, John.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Blakely. My business was just awarded the Community Development Grant by the City of Chicago. I wanted to know, are you taking new clients? We're in need of an architect.
All right, Stephanie, yes, we are. And congratulations to you. That's very exciting. And we have worked with a couple of grant recipients, and we're happy to work with you as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tina Laurie Harris with Chicago Public Schools Business Diversity. I want to make sure that I connect with you and get your business card so we can get you an RFQ.
Thank you, Tina. I really appreciate that.
Any other questions for Ms. Harrell? Okay. I see a hand up down here.
And we do have a table in the exhibit hall, so I and my colleague Ariana will be there, and we look forward to connecting with all of you.
Hello, my name is Ed Weathersby of Ed Weathersby & Sons, water and sewer contractors, and we basically are a water and sewer installations coming in from the front of buildings, and I want to find out if I could give you my card, so in the future, if you need some water and sewer installations, you'll have my number. I'm an MBE and a DBE, and also my son sitting next to me, he's also a licensed plumbing contractor for the city of Chicago, and he does the same thing that I do, okay? So, here's my card. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. This is what it's about, networking, connecting, absolutely.
Ms. Harrell, my name is Jason Williams. What a great inspirational speech that you gave. I learned a whole lot. I'm wondering, is your biggest problem right now is getting capital to get to the land so you can start building? That's my question.
Yes.
Great job today also.
Thank you so much, Jason. For that project in particular? Yes. So capital is absolutely, so the land has been acquired. It's owned by the developer, Lennox Jackson. But the capital for the development and to cover all of the pre-development costs, we're working on that. So yes, absolutely, that is the biggest hurdle right now is getting the capital for that. Yes.
How you doing? I'm Eshko Woods with Drone Events. We're a black-owned drone business, and I was wondering how I can get into the construction aspect of things and contact with you later on.
Yes, absolutely. So drones are awesome. We've worked on a couple of projects where we needed to see what was going on the roof, and we couldn't, right? And we couldn't get ladders to get what we needed done. So having a drone service would be amazing. So yes, there's plenty of opportunity for that. Thank you.
We got time for just a couple more questions here, and then we're going to start breaking off to the exhibitor hall and our breakout sessions. Again, if you're not able to ask a question here, please see Ms. Harrell and her staff in the exhibitor hall later today to connect with you.
Hi, and thank you for taking the question. My name's Erica McKinney. I'm the owner of M&R Transportation. So I understand a female being in a male-dominated arena. So tell me what your encouragement is. How did you break through that barrier of being a female in a male-dominated area?
Thank you for the question. It is difficult at times, and I know you know. So I think there are a few things that have encouraged me along the way. So one, I have an amazing family that's very supportive and has encouraged me from birth all the way till now. And I've had amazing examples of successful people to look up to along the way. So that has been really important to me. I've had mentors in the profession who have also encouraged me. And I think, you have to know your own worth and know what you bring to the table, and also just know the environment that you're going into. We can't change, even though we're working towards it, we can't change, the years and years of history that have gotten us to the point we are with race relations, right? So just knowing the environment that you're going into, knowing that often when I show up on a construction site, people are going to look right past me, right? Like I already know that. And I'm going to have to establish who I am. And once I do, then we're good. So just kind of being prepared for those sorts of moments is helpful. That's not to say that it doesn't hurt or over time that it doesn't, kind of keep nicking at you. But you have to keep going forward. And as I was saying, our communities need us, so the importance of the work that we're doing keeps me motivated as well.
Hi, my name is Josie Hood. I'm actually a developer, Inglewood, Woodlawn. So I'm always in our communities, just trying to make life better. But I'm actually standing here right now as a member of National Association of Black Women in Construction. We are chartering our Chicago chapter, and I'm looking at I'm looking at what I do, I'm looking at what we do, and I think that we're gonna be best friends.
Let's do it.
I got time for just two more questions, and then we are going to go about the program for the day.
Good morning. All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Ann McNeil, and I am going to follow her as the founder of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. I just want to ask all of us, can we give her another round of applause, please? Now, my question for you is, as a president, a past president of Black Women Architects, can you share with us your thoughts about getting other girls to consider this industry? Because in our area, and I flew in from Florida to be here today, but in our area, I cannot think of 2 Black women architects that I know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great question. There are efforts underway. So NOMA, National Organization of Minority Architects, has amazing programs that reach out to young people to try to help expose them to architecture in the early years. I think that's a really important step, and there's also ACE mentorship, a number of programs that are doing that. So I think the early outreach is very important, just so that people know it's an option. I know for myself, I don't have any architects in my family. I have a lot of wonderful, successful people in my family, but no architects. And when I was in high school, my parents made sure that I met up with a Black architect in our town in Durham. His name was Phil Freelon, amazing, incredible architect who became my mentor for many, many years before he passed away. So making those connections is also really important. Reaching out and having those personal connections is important. And then also I would say it's really important that we start focusing on what happens once people get into the profession. So like I said, there's a lot of outreach at elementary schools and middle schools and all of that, but we really have to ask the question, like, what kind of environment are we bringing them into? Because I do know that a lot of people leave the profession. Once they get in, they see what's going on, they hit up against the barriers, and they just kind of say, I want to do something better, something easier. So I think we really do have to start focusing on what's happening within the profession and making sure that it's a place where women can thrive.
Janeen, you did your thing today, so shout out to you. So my question is actually kind of related to what you just began to touch on, is given your unique positioning with your identity and the industry that you operate within, how do you approach mentorship both from a mentor and a mentee perspective, like at this stage in your career?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say that for me, the mentorship tends to be more informal. So I have participated in programs where I'm a mentee or I'm a mentor and I get paired with someone, and that's an awesome way to do it for sure. And in fact, I hired one of my mentees earlier this year, but she got a full-time job. I could only, support part-time, so she had to move on. But those connections become really important, right? So formal mentorship is important, but also the informal mentorship. So, being at events like this, where you have an opportunity to meet someone briefly, and then, have a coffee here and there, and just, have conversations about things. For me, I think that's almost more important than having the really formal mentorship happening. I think also for me, now that I'm a business owner, I am kind of seeking more mentors who are in that business space, right? So there is a shift, between working for a company and owning a company. So I have reached out to a lot of business owners who have architecture firms, right? And just had conversations with them. How did you do it? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? And as I mentioned, you get all the advice and then you figure out what makes sense for you. But again, for me, it's a little more informal conversations, phone calls, coffees, and then just taking in all of that information and figuring out what makes sense for me.
Everyone, please help me give one more round of applause to today's keynote speaker, Janeen Harrell.